Hashtag humble brag. Hashtag humble brag. All right. I think we are going. We're going and we are gold. I think. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Farm to Tower, episode 4. I am your moderator, Alex O'Neill. And join me this week, I have, a lot of people have like really normal love affairs, but I like to keep it complicated. So that's why I stick it with Cameron Abbott, my host of Naughty Gamers, and my beautiful co-host this evening.
So complicated.
Look at that little smile you got going on there, Cam.
God damn you, Alex. God damn you.
I know. And the only Alex I'm willing to take to bed with me, Alex Van Aken, is here as well.
Oh, hello. Hello, sir.
Alex doesn't even take himself to bed.
Absolutely. I refuse to take myself to bed. And it's just us three rocking it tonight. Gonna have a good time. No Griffin, no NATO, no hardcore Destiny players.
Hey, speak for yourself.
just some filthy
Let's talk
casuals.
about that worm in the sea.
Yeah, let's talk.
Do you want to? Because we can. I can't do that.
Let's get into that worm.
Oh, I can talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Last episode, so I feel like we could talk about it.
Listen, man, Cameron, I don't know what you've prepared for your lore minute, but
let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. It's never too far from me, Alex. Oh wait, it's right here.
It's right here in my heart.
Oh my gosh, you're such a nerd.
Do you read a topic off the list and then take it all off the dome?
For the most part, yeah.
All right. That's
let's see. We did humanity last time. Exohuman Awoken.
Well, Cameron figures that out. I do. So typically with Farm to Tower, I do like to kind of like roll right into the show, but I think it's worth noting since another one of these kinds of podcasts is coming out from our very own Alex Van Aken, that we mentioned New Donk City Radio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Already number 55, right?
And the Goombas are pretty. Yeah. New Donk City Radio. New Super Mario Odyssey podcast from okbeast.com. It's a mini series like we did with Breath of the Wild, except it's all about Mario Odyssey. And yeah, we're top 100 right now on iTunes, which is really cool. All it took was begging my friends and family, like in DMs, please review. And it worked. So here we are.
Hey, it does work. That's the message to all y'all out there. If Farm to Tower was on iTunes, I know they'd come out though.
Yeah. Support your favorite podcasts. I try to review any podcast I can if I really am like an avid listener. And you should too, listener, because it helps your podcast people.
Oh, I forgot to silence that.
God damn it, Cameron! This is a professional environment.
I'd be more worried if we were like actually recording audio, just audio. So.
Wow. Okay. So it's just my feelings.
Don't do this, Alex. Don't fish for me loving you. You know it's already there.
So with the three of us here today, I just want to throw out New Donk City Radio, and we got a few other things. Maybe we'll housekeeping wise stuff that we'll throw out toward the end of the show. We are now 8 weeks into Destiny 2, which is crazy to think about. This is the 4th episode, bi-weekly, 8 weeks. The big, I think, theme of today is who's playing Destiny 2.
I mean, Cam was, so he could get his gamer cred on the show.
Yeah, I literally had to like play it right before the show to say like at least one of us has played it recently.
Yeah.
I played a quick Crucible match. I'm still pretty okay. So
I kind of. When was the last time you played, Alex? Just for my reference.
Week and a half ago, essentially the week after we recorded last. That was kind of the last time I played because I took some homework home that we talked about last episode, implemented it into my gameplay, and that was kind of it.
Same here.
It's not there.
Me too. And I kind of want to have like our central discussion of the show this week is just to really focus on nobody's playing Destiny 2, and there's been a lot of. Or less people, not nobody. There are definitely people playing Destiny 2. Just came out on PC yesterday.
I think that's a big thing about it as well, is that a lot of people, I can tell you at least I think 4 or 5 people just on my Twitter feed of people that I follow closely were pretty pumped for it. So
yeah, and a lot of hype and buzz as going around that PC version. Seems like Bungie did a really nice job with it. Obviously, uncapped frame rate, runs in up to 4K, possibly even beyond. Cool. And it looks good. The performance is great. It's well optimized. Essentially all the things we want from a good PC port. And for a game that had 3 years of content with no PC version, and to come into the PC space, it's good to hear that they kind of did it right.
Yeah. The entire reason I bought a PlayStation 4 was because I needed to play Destiny.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, and my buddy's like, Destiny's coming out. And it's like, yeah, but I have a PC. He goes, it's not coming out on PC. I'm like, oh, no.
And now you're a filthy console scrub like the rest of us.
I mean, I could show you the rig that I have for PC, and you would not say that. So,
yeah, but I'd still say it to play with you.
yeah.
Do either of you have any intention of getting the PC version?
Yeah.
Not right away.
Yeah, I think if it's on a sale, like a Steam sale, that would be good.
It won't. Like I can see myself.
Steam? It's on Battle.net.
It's not through Steam. It's only on Battle.net, so it's never going to go on sale.
Right.
Because it's Battle.net, Activision. And the thing is, games. This is something that people need to realize, because I see a lot of times people are like, "Well, wait for it to go on sale." Unless a game's sales have started declining, it's not going to happen. It's why GTA 5 will never be on sale ever again. Because for some reason, this month, if we look at the NPD charts, it's still charting at being sold in the top 10 games.
Yeah. And most importantly, this month, Destiny 2 went from, in 1 month, being not on the charts to the number one selling game of 2017 year to date.
Yes.
So Destiny 2 in that 1 month sold better than Ghost Recon Wildlands, which was the top selling game that came out back in March, and it has been number one overall for the year. So Destiny 2 probably did pretty well. I know there was some like reports of it like selling like a quarter of what Destiny originally sold, which when Destiny did release, it was the best-selling new IP of this generation. I think it still is. I
don't believe it's been topped by anything.
I don't think it's 3/4 of the population, but some of that is going to be made up, this month.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, Destiny 1 had a very long tail to it. Like, I bought it at Taken King in 2015 versus 2014 when it released. So I think there's definitely potential for when that inevitable major expansion comes out next year to see people coming in then as well. But I think it's safe to say Destiny 2 will probably, save for Call of Duty and Battlefront 2, be the best-selling game of the year, or at least in that top 5, and it did very well. So
with the way that Call of Duty has sold, and Battlefield 1 was interesting, but the way that Call of Duty sells, Call of Duty still sells. It just does. People just buy it.
Yeah.
Call of Duty has reached the point in gaming where it is essentially equivalent to Madden.
Yeah.
Or FIFA.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is Call of Duty is played by people who just like their systems, their consoles, their PCs or whatever are Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA machines.
Or some variation therein.
Yeah, some variation. But Call of Duty has reached that pinnacle of being the yearly blockbuster to the point where Activision has 3 studios working on the IP now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that every year we're getting a new one, and it has the same technical polish because they've had 3 years to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, they've they're a well-oiled machine. They've got that figured out.
And I've been if they've even said it before, if they need to, they'll bring in a 4th one if they have to.
Yeah.
Like this is not something that they're giving up. The yearly Call of Duty will continue.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Alex?
Oh, I would love to see a Call of Duty, like you said, like with 4 years of polish instead of 3. I think that'd be pretty dope.
That extra year would do a lot for them. I think a lot to stir up the innovation.
I just generally love to see another studio take a crack at it. This is Sledgehammer's second Call of Duty game coming out this year. A lot of people liked Advanced Warfare 3 years ago, so I'm curious to see what the reception to World War II is. They're doing some cool stuff with it. I don't give a shit about World War shooters, so I'm over it. But
I do, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't touch Call of Duty.
Yeah. But
Call of Duty's reached that point where it's I just have no intention of playing it.
It's just kind of boring now.
Mm-hmm.
I played the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta until I hit level 46, which was 4 levels shy of prestiging, and I'm like, cool, now I don't have to buy the game. And I went on with my life.
There you go.
I used to be yearly because I used to do the tournaments and stuff, like the local tournaments, and I was very deep into those games, but now I hardly touch them. So
Destiny
Destiny. Speaking of not touching things.
But in comparison to something like Call of Duty, I think Call of Duty at least with you and I, Alex, like had that kind of like year over year saturation to the point where you just stop caring about it.
Yeah.
Destiny, I think, luckily doesn't really have that.
Right.
But nobody's playing Destiny as much, or there seems to be a general feeling that the end game content for Destiny 2 is not as fulfilling as people wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the go-to comparison would be to say not as fulfilling as Destiny 1, but I think it is absolutely leaps and bounds better than the original Destiny.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
But people, of course, still aren't satisfied. So I just kind of wanted to get the temperature from you guys before we kind of go off and do a couple of points I wanted to get into of like, how do you feel about Destiny 2's endgame level of content?
I think I would love to see other. So I've been having this issue with my squad where either we want to raid but we lack a person, or we have 5 people and we can't all PvP together. And so one of us has to get off, or we just don't play Destiny, or we just do solo stuff and talk. I wish there was a mode that would capitalize on 5 people, kind of like PvP I think used to be.
Mm-hmm.
No, PvP used to be 6, but you could still autofill in for that 6 slot.
Right.
So
yeah.
And so I just wish I keep finding myself continually in this situation where I want to play with my friends, but we either have too many or too little, and it just kind of hinders progress. And I think content wise, I think so. I'm comparing this to like it's not a fair comparison, but here I am. World of Warcraft, like that's one of my favorite games of all time. It's like the standard for MMOs these days. There's so much to do in in-game. And it was kind of fragmented as well. And it seems like in Destiny, it was like the little that they had. I don't want to say little, like the raid was very impressive, but the content they had was you had to grind to 20, you like get there as fast as you can, and then you have like these 3 or 4 different things you can do essentially. And once you're done with those, like there's no real incentive to do anything else. I've got all the gear in the game except for 1 or 2 exotics. I've beaten the raid, 4 or 5 times. Got it down to like I've beaten it in 2 hours now. And there's real I PvP sometimes, like that's fun, but especially in the fall, like where we're at right now, all these games are coming out. I've been playing Divinity Original Sin, South Park, Mario, Wolfenstein, and Assassin's Creed is this week, and then there's even more after that. So there's not enough to keep me there right now. And I think an expansion or a DLC would do that, would pull me back in. But I think I kind of enjoy, I like the fact that I feel like I don't have to play it to keep up. Whereas in Destiny 1 was this constant grind, right? Like it took forever to get an exotic, let alone like these other things. And I feel like Destiny 2 is so generous with that stuff. I've kind of cut down my playtime significantly and feel satisfied with my experience still.
Okay. Cameron, what about you?
I would echo the sentiment. There's a lot of games coming out right now. This fall is more stacked than any fall I can ever remember it being.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a fall release schedule will have, I want to say 3 to 4 big anticipated games. This fall has a dozen?
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah,
minimum a dozen.
Not including like the indie games like Golf Story that are going to sneak out of nowhere and be like, oh, I should really play this, or like a Hat in Time, which now is super on my radar of like, oh man, I should really play this. So
like you have that going on. You have the Switch saying, oh yeah, Mario Odyssey is coming out in 2 days, a day.
2 days.
2 days.
Tomorrow night, technically. If
you
want to go to Best Buy. Or
So in a day or 2, we will have a new Mario game. But even then, the content release schedule that Nintendo has had has been killer this entire year.
Yeah.
They were heavily criticized when they made their initial announcements, and then over time, we've seen these stealth launches, these stealth releases of these games. Stardew Valley coming out and like doing gangbusters. The thing is, the attach rate is insane on the Switch. But to deviate from that, back to what I'm saying, you have a new Assassin's Creed, you have a new Wolfenstein, you have a new Call of Duty, you have a new Battlefield, you have a new, like the list just goes on. There's a new everything this fall, this season. The drought of good video games that we have like gotten 1 or 2, maybe we can find 10 a year, 10, 12 a year of like good games, not great games, but good games seems to be over. It's weird that when the rest of the world is going like down the toilet in virtually every other space, games are somehow like art is just better this year than it's been in a long time. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you have things like that going on. You also have a situation like, gosh, I mean, the thing is, if the Overwatch Halloween event hadn't been happening, I'd still be playing Destiny, like couple Crucible matches, couple of things here or there, like a week, like a night.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like Overwatch is doing something new, so I'm checking that out. Everybody's checking out new things because this is a bi-weekly podcast. And I remember when we started this podcast, a lot of us were like, well, we could do it every week. And I think to Alex's credit, Oni, I'm not Van Aken.
10 out of 10 look from Alex Van Aken.
But no, yeah, to your credit, Alex, you're like, no, let's keep it bi-weekly. And it's like, no, that was a good call. That was a good call.
I have some ideas that are pretty good.
Yeah. But probably the biggest thing that I would say is that Destiny is a service game. It is not a 100% content-based game.
Yeah.
The content is being delivered, but I will also say that, and I know that some questions have been asked about this subject, and we'll get to those probably later during the questions section then. But it's not necessarily that there's a lack of endgame content. There's a ton of endgame content. However, the endgame content has found itself capped. It's super easy. It's super gratifying to get like, oh, like a rare or an exotic is like a piece of candy. We're getting a bunch of pieces of candy, but we're getting the same candy.
Yeah.
We're getting the same stuff. And the worst part is you get to a point where that stuff isn't even better or different. It used to be in Destiny 1, you got an incredible gun, but it only has one of the two perks I want.
Yeah.
Right. Last week, I opened 5 hard lights in a row, exotics.
Mm-hmm.
I was so angry. And it's just like, that's kind of like you said, like that's where we're at. We're getting the same candy. And
we're getting the same candy
we don't want.
And it's candy we can't use or eat or have anything to do with. I reached 304 light and I was like, okay, time for the grind, time to get that final grind to get that little bit boosted up to 305. Like almost everything I have is 305 now, except like one piece.
Same.
So I just have to do this and I'm gonna do it. And then it hit me. I don't have to.
Why? Yeah.
I don't have to do this because in order to do this, I would have to do guided games or like try to get like pull people from other stuff that they're doing right now. And it's not going to be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it. And the thing is, that's probably the biggest issue the point to hit on right now. Playing Destiny really isn't worth it. Destiny 2 is still a great game. It's still phenomenal. If you haven't picked it up or played it yet, I highly suggest you do. There will be tons of people still like playing the end game content that you can reach out to and play with. But if you've already played through Destiny, you don't need to. Playing it on PC for a lot of these people is going to be a lot of fun because it's going to feel like a new experience with the upgraded, frames per second, the resolution being as high as you need it to be. Everything else like that is just, it's uncapped and it's unfettered, so to speak. And that's great, but in 8 weeks, you're going to hit that same point. Actually, maybe, yeah, you might. The Osiris DLC, which is scheduled to launch in mid to late December.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's the rumor. We'll probably get sometime in November the conference where they announce it.
Or like,
trying to think, they might announce it at PSX actually.
Yeah, I was thinking PSX or the Game Awards, either or.
The Game Awards. Oh, the Game Awards probably more than likely then.
Yeah.
That'll be a great place for them to like launch that, do a soft launch on it. Well, who knows? They might even at PSX have demos. They had it for Rise of Iron last year.
So I was thinking, like they'll probably have it playable at PSX. So.
Yeah, that sounds about right to their MO. You'll have Trials of Osiris. The thing about it coming on PC, I don't know if you've covered this, Alex, if you have it on your list of stuff that we're going to go over, but the data mining that's happened on the PC version.
I haven't heard about that. Yeah.
So the best part about Destiny 2 coming out on PC and people having it is people have data mining. Data mining, of course, is like one of the best things in the world for PC stuff because you know about Easter eggs and you know about a lot of stuff that didn't make it to the game because the files are still there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, but also what's really cool is that developers know that, and so for PC launches, a lot of times they'll sneak in files that aren't actually real files.
Yeah, little secrets for people that are gonna go looking for them.
So it looks like there's some voice lines talking about how this is some spoiler stuff here for what could happen, but it's also very likely that this is one of those fake data mine stuff that people put out.
Yeah.
I saw that little product placement there, Alex.
Yeah, brought to you by McDonald's. The Golden Arches.
Yeah.
This is actually just a cup of water too. It's,
That's a big cup of water.
Yeah,
Brought
well,
to you by
they gave me a nice big
Burger
cup.
King Happy Meal 2000.
Is that a Mewtwo?
It is.
Mewtwo,
Oh
like
my
a
God.
scrub.
Dude, I remember those actually.
I still
holy
have my
shit.
Charizard one.
Fuck.
I don't know why it's on my desk. It is though.
Nostalgia AF.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I think it's so right now there's some data mining stuff, some spoiler alerts for something that may happen but probably won't.
Mm-hmm.
There's some lines in there already about Cade 6 being dead,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't see as being likely.
I don't see them killing him off in a DLC.
Yeah.
I don't see them
Maybe
killing
an
him off in a
expansion
DLC
story.
or an expansion story, but I actually think that there was a possibility that he might have died. You see his frame, like his frame, and you can't really communicate with it or talk to it very much.
Yeah.
It's lying on the ground, prone, missing both its arms in the end of the campaign.
Mm.
So I think there might have been a decision, hey, we might kill Cade and then have Hawthorne replace him as the hunter person. But I think that was scrapped early on in the project, but they still had, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be anything. Also, it should be pointed out that exos often are thought to, when an exo quote unquote dies, like for real dies, like Banshee did, they bring it back and it just is missing memories and stuff.
I gotcha.
So Cade 6.
It's it feels weird
Banshee
going
7.
to turn my tokens in if he's dead, even though I've completed the campaign.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's also the biggest, most recognizable character in that entire franchise because of Nathan Fillion. So I don't think they would kill his character. So
It's not just Nathan Fillion. The Cade 6 character as a whole is Nathan Fillion's great in the role. I think he's perfect for it, but it also is the writing for Cade 6 ever since The Taken King has just been stellar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Cade 6 also has a really compelling backstory and stuff, which we'll get to at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. So as for me, I'm there seems to be a lot of aggression toward the lack of end game content in Destiny 2. Not that I don't know what else they would have put in there. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do. You got adventures, which are your side quests. You've got plenty of challenges. I think the way that they've rolled out Trials of the Nine and then Iron Banner and then Faction Wars, the way and the pacing of all that stuff as someone who got in at day one has been really great and really fun. I don't know if they're going to just dump all that out right away on PC. I hope not. I hope they have a content release scheduled for that as well.
Yeah.
But I've been having a great time with Destiny 2 and I'm okay. Never will be one of those 305 kind of people. But I actually got a hunter to level 295 or whatever, which I had not done
Pretty
before.
good. Yeah.
And I started a Titan character and I actually got him to level 6. And I might, if sometime ever comes back to me, because I like playing Destiny 2, I might just power him through to 280 or whatever, just to have a Titan just in case. But yeah, I've never been so dedicated to getting to max light because I know an expansion will come out. Light level will be 325 probably when this new expansion comes out or whatever. Getting to 305 will then be a joke, as is the trivialization of all of our lives thanks to loot.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And so but it never bothered me. It's never been a big deal. So I'm okay putting Destiny down and having more of a definitive end to the content that I want to play. Because for folks who don't know, Cameron and I got our group together and finished the raid with our original group. Between the recording of last episode and this, we did that was the thing that we wanted to do. We joked about doing the prestige raid, but I have no intention of ever doing that.
No, nobody does. Nobody in our group of people actually wants, every single person, I'm saying this honestly, every single person has at least reached out or said publicly they do not want to play it.
I think Tony secretly does, though. There's a part of him that really does want to do it. But now he's a PC player, so he's...
Yeah, I wasn't counting Tony. Tony doesn't count. He plays on PC now.
Yeah, I was gonna see if I could sneak him on tonight's show to talk about the PC version, but he's like, "Yeah, Scott and I are playing through on PC." I'm like, oh, "Well, at least Scott's playing it." Like,
There you go.
I guess I'll take some happiness away from this.
There you go. Scott's playing it. That's cool.
Yeah. So he was waiting
no,
for the PC version though. So.
Yeah, I knew that. I listened to IP, Alex. I know.
Well, no one does except for you. So.
That's not true.
But no, it's not true. We got
people.
numbers.
If you don't know, I'm currently like running the back of my hand across Alex's face on my screen right now. It's like, it's okay, Alex. It's okay.
Single tier.
He's trying to go for the IP most valuable guest.
I actually was looking at that list last night too, Cameron. You're gonna have to work hard to get on that one.
For that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to work hard. I've only been on it like once this year.
Yeah, but you're gonna be an extra
I think
life,
so.
so.
Yeah, I know that's true.
But
oh man, did you see the latest edition I put onto that list of things that we're gonna do?
I haven't yet. I haven't checked it.
Check this song, like the song request that we're gonna have for it.
Okay.
That last one that I added is pretty good.
I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, so like Destiny 2's content kind of tapering out, I guess. As someone who's not into PvP, like Trials of the Nine is terrible. I think it's just an awful, unfun, terrible time. Like,
it's worse in my opinion. It's worse than Trials of Osiris. 100%.
I had a lot of great times with Trials of Osiris. Like,
yeah.
I got to like the 7th round one. I never like ever finished it or went flawless. I did make it to the lighthouse once, actually.
Yeah, I went flawless once. I had 2 guys Sherpa me through, and it was a pretty incredible experience. Not just getting to the lighthouse, but our last match that would let us go flawless. It was against apparently like a really big streamer, and he was streaming it, and it was like, oh, okay, fun, cool. We beat him. Like the first round, we just massacred him.
That's good. But
and so they got serious.
I liked the format of Trials before. I liked 3-on-3. I liked just deathmatch, like just throw yourselves against each other until one team's dead. Like I really liked that.
Reviving people was like you were actually capable of doing it.
Yeah, it felt like an achievable thing. But like I've legitimately had absolutely no fun playing with friends or without in Trials of the Nine. Like it has been.
I haven't won a single match. I've played multiple times with multiple groups of people. I've never won a single match. 4 people in Trials of the Nine suck. But
like I've played with you, Cameron. I just want you to know the whole time I didn't say anything, but I was having a horrible time.
I was having a horrible time too. No, it was not fun. There's nothing fun about that.
So like. That's been.
I'm sure if Griffin was here, he'd be like, "Guys, you just got to be good."
And that's fine. Like that's
in there with your Mida.
Your Mida.
To be team shot in half a second by 4 Midas is not fun.
But like I get it.
Go in there and devour.
I'm not good, very good at Destiny 2. Probably because I played a lot of Overwatch this year, and like that's if I'm gonna be okay at one thing, it's gonna be that. So it's very good.
Yeah.
But like that's okay. Like that's never been what I go to Destiny for. I go for the PvE content. I saw all of that. I think all of that is phenomenal too. And I'm okay with just like finishing it. And then like I'm excited for a new expansion to come out because I'm excited to get the gang back together and start playing some Destiny again. And like I'm excited for the next raid because I'm excited to get my group, whether that be the same group or it'll probably end up being a different one of like, let's see if we can go in this blind and just see how far we can get and do that cycle all over again.
Chip away, yeah.
And by that time, I'll probably be able to do that twice, once on PS4 and once on Xbox One. So I'm really excited for the future of Destiny 2, and vanilla Destiny 2 is like so much fun, and I'm excited to see how that changes because I think come September of next year, I think it'll be a very different game, just like the Taken King changed Destiny vanilla as well. So
I agree with you. It's going to be a lot of fun come December. It's going to be, have you guys seen that Call of Duty commercial that they have going on?
No.
It's like a guy goes in, he's like walking through an office, he goes in for like a peer review, and the boss's chair turns around, and it's a guy who, I kid you freaking not, looks like Max Scoville. Like they took Max Scoville, like what he wears, and did everything they could to hire Max Scoville without hiring Max.
That's pretty great.
Get a raccoon in the room.
There is not. You made a trash panda? No.
Boo. Double boo.
No, there's the and then go around and they like gather up like I'm like, how big is Call of Duty teams now? Because they gather like 12 people.
Yeah.
Or they go to like different places. They like go like all over the place. They pick up a mom who's in an arcade, like getting like lunch money from kids by beating them at a game.
Nice.
They mix it up a lot. It's really cool. It's a cool little commercial. But I'm like, I imagine that's what it'll be like. It'd be like we have to convince Tony to come back. Tony and Mina to come back from PC.
Yeah, come back to consoles just for this one last ride.
One last run.
Until Destiny 3.
And yeah, so like I don't think there is reason enough to be upset that Destiny doesn't have enough content. It has enough content. Like,
yeah,
I just like
everyone was just addicted to the content.
Yeah, you can finish it and move on to other stuff. Like there's plenty else to do currently. If anything, I feel bad for giving Destiny as much time as I did, but like also I don't because it was very good.
Yeah,
I will also say this. I forgot the guy's full name, but it's called Yoshi P in the community. But in Final Fantasy 14, with an interview that if you watch the Danny O'Dwyer no clip documentary about Final Fantasy 14, he's the director of the rebooted, like the revamped version.
Realm Reborn.
And he when he talks about it, and they're like, yeah, so like what's like not a lot of grinding and everything goes. I want people to play other games. He's like, I want you to come to this game, play this game, and when you're done, put it down and go play other games. And I feel like Destiny 2 is that. Mm-hmm. You will have people who do not ever want to put it down because that's their social game. Mm-hmm. They play with people they know, their friends. That's something we saw a lot of in Destiny 1. The reason why people didn't stop playing Destiny 1 was because their friends played Destiny 1, and that's what they did. So I don't think that'll change very much. But one thing I will say is that there's no reason. I have it installed on my hard drive on my PS4. I have no reason to uninstall it from my hard drive.
Yeah.
It will remain there probably for the next year or so.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to feel like I can jump into it anytime. Like, and I think there is definitely a risky run being an MMO light versus like an actual MMO, which is what I would categorize Destiny as. Like, you know,
100%.
The parts are there, but it's not formatted quite the same, not quite as social, but it's just like you have to have a realistic expectation of content, you know. And they're not trying to make a game that is like World of Warcraft. They're trying to make a game that is inspired by World of Warcraft. And I think they did a great job. So ultimately, I'm very happy with Destiny 2. And with that in mind, I want to ask you guys, both of you, a very, let's say, interesting question, important question. Okay. Is Destiny 2 a Game of the Year contender?
100%. I don't know who would say no unless you're already like, if you have already like pelvic thrusted into Zelda so hard that you literally can't pull yourself out of, and anybody who does will be named the next King of England. Like if that is the case for you, I understand, but
I feel like you're throwing like a little bit of shade my way right now, Cameron. Just a little bit.
Get ready for. I'm just saying, get ready for some hot takes. This is. I said it before earlier. I've said it multiple times this year. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath when it comes to Game of the Year contenders.
Yeah.
The top 10 list for everybody will be so like I don't want to say controversial, but people will be throwing so much shade and so much garbage at each other over each other's Game of the Year list. Like, well, how could you leave this off? How could you? But like, it's crazy because there are multiple, like if it was any other year, if this game was in any other year, Game of the Year. Mm-hmm. But we have more than 10 of those this year, I would say.
Yeah.
You have Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey coming out. I can't wait for all the people who are like, Zelda's Game of the Year, man. Zelda's Game of the Year. Next week, Mario Odyssey Game of the Year. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Yeah, just waiting for that blessing hot take on that. Or best, like I hope it's not the case. But it would also be the best thing ever is if Blessing played through all of Mario Odyssey, didn't say anything throughout the entire thing, came out and said, it's all right. Like that'd be the best. That'd be the best take for him to ever give me.
Yeah.
So I think Destiny 2 is for sure Game of the Year contender.
Okay.
It's going to be Game of the Year for me. I don't even think it's going to be my top 5. That's only because the caliber of games that have released this year. Like it really does say something about like. So the beginning of the year, I was like, nah, 2017 is okay. Like, let's talk about 2004 and 2007. Those are good year for games. I totally am retracting that statement. Like 2017 is up there with some of the greatest years for gaming. I think because of that, we're gonna see, like you said, Cam, it's gonna be a bloodbath, and I think we're gonna see a lot of games that are gonna get shunned despite them being incredible games. I think it's just because of the volume of titles. Like I've got like 20 games that I have to whittle down, 20 or more that I think like deserve to be on my top 10, but I don't know.
My
They
my
can't all be
December
good.
list, my December backlog that I have to play through before Game of the Year is going to murder me.
Yeah, luckily
Yeah.
I have nothing in November, so I have a November December list.
Yeah.
It's not
I
gonna
have
give a
mostly
shit about
November
Battlefront,
open.
y'all.
I'm gonna get Battlefront 2.
Oh, I don't plan on playing Battlefront. I think mostly November. November, the thing is, I would normally be like, yeah, I'll play games in November. I'm going to be like broke in November because I'm going to be paying for both Extra Life and PSX.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
My
So no
birthday-
money's for me.
I'm like, man, let's spend this.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Destiny will be on my top 10 list for sure. I just don't know. For me, this is just personally. Like, I could totally see an outlet giving Destiny 2 Game of the Year. No issues there.
hmm
I just think personally, yeah. I think I wish Destiny stepped more towards the full MMO design. Like, I love Destiny because a lot of the games that I love are social experiences.
hmm
And that's one of the reasons I love Destiny so much is I can just spend hours with my friends talking. But the game itself, if I wasn't playing with friends, I'm not sure it would hold my attention as much. So
It's
that's
not
just
built
me.
to be a single player experience,
Right, exactly.
nor should it be
You're right.
expressly considered that. This. I would love to tell you, yeah, it's in my top 5. I would love to tell you it's my game of the year. I don't know. There's still other games coming out this year. There's so much to consider.
Mhm.
Like this year I can't honestly tell you it's my number 1 or top 5 or even into my top 10. I don't know because I've been avoiding putting a list together this far this year. I think that's been a lot of people's mistakes.
Yeah.
Is putting a list together already. They're like, oh, I already kind of figured out my top 5. I don't. Because the end of this year is going to come. The last 3 months are going to happen this year, and it's going to wreck everybody. It's bracket busters.
I have nothing numbered on my list, but I've just written down all the games I played.
I don't have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, but I definitely have like this is the upper echelon of the games I've played this year.
I know what my top 2
Sure.
are, but
I wasn't referring to you two. I was referring to other people that I've seen where they're like, yeah, I already have my top games listed out. It's like,
Yeah.
don't hold your breath on that, man.
yeah, playing with fire.
No,
over here.
knowing people like since we all 3 of us know people who work in professional gaming outlets where they have like everybody enters a room to discuss what will be game of the year. I wish I was a fly on the wall, but also B, I do not envy any of them this year.
Yeah,
They get so much hate. Yeah, it stinks.
Not only just so much hate, but like they're going to tear each other apart. You think Goldfarb in IGN is going to say anything besides Persona 5 as game of the year? You think that's a possibility?
I still have to
No.
play that.
yeah.
No,
You
it's
should play
not.
that
He's
out.
he's going to get
I
either he's going to win or he's going to be devastated.
And it's likely he'll be devastated.
Yeah, there's no. This is not a. This is a great year for gamers, but for people who are in editorial stuff, this is a bad year because there's so much to play.
Where I'm at, like, I don't think Destiny 2 is a Game of the Year contender. And
Okay. I see.
I say that because like I don't think it is a number 1 contender. I just like realistically, if we all take a step back and look at 2017 as a whole, like I don't think Destiny 2 quite scrapes up against the number 1 spot. I think that's again not a bad thing. I just think there are more unique individual ideas, and with my Game of the Year list and the way where I come at with it, like I always tend to I favor games that aren't numbered sequels, or games that aren't derivative of their predecessors. Like,
oh, so you're saying you're biased, Alex?
yeah, I'm biased. That's the word I would use. I'm biased
Biased
against
in an
things
opinion.
I like.
Biased in an opinion-based industry. Who would expect that?
No, you know what? There was a Game of the Year podcast where somebody yelled that I was being biased during it, and I didn't know how to respond. You should go back and listen to that. It was 2013 about The Last of Us versus Grand Theft Auto 5. So I'll tell you about the flavor of that conversation. And anyway, that aside, I just think if we, and again, my opinion, this is just like using an example, like if we weigh the Breath of the Wild's innovations versus Destiny 2's, there's like a clear standout.
Don't try to drag out this out of me, Alex.
Did you
It's
see
too
that
early. I'm
super
still
move today
incubating.
on Twitter where the dude throws the boomerang, grabs it with the magnet, and walks around like he has a lawnmower?
No, but this sounds incredible.
DM it to you guys.
You don't have to, because I saw it and I already did it without somebody showing me how to do it.
And that's a really cool thing that you can do in that game. But like, and I don't think Zelda is alone in that. I think there's a lot of games that are initiating this kind of like self-discovery in games. And I think, funnily enough, like the Taken King in Destiny 2 had way more of that mystery.
Destiny 1.
In Destiny 1. The Taken King had way more of that mystery and like encouraging you to discover stuff than Destiny 2 seems to have had. Like, I haven't heard anything about like a Nightfall this week that had like a door that was only open for 15 minutes if you get to it fast enough. Like that stuff that was in Taken King where you could go on these like totally difficult to find but rewarding exotic quests is missing in Destiny 2 so far. Not that I think it's not going to be there down the line or in later expansions. Like, you got to start somewhere, build the groundwork, and then you can start to get weird. But
I will tell you that from what interviews have been said, I don't see that coming.
And that's a bummer because I think as abstract and frustrating as that was in Destiny 1, it was also one of the most unique aspects of that game.
Yeah.
And Destiny 2 distinctly lacks that. It has its own weird, obscure bullshit in it. I'm pretty sure that was the exact phrase that I used in my review. But it is also missing a little bit of that, and it is a bit more safe. It is a bit more grounded. And for that, I don't think it is as innovative, but which makes it not a contender in my heart. But I think it's still fantastic. I think it is in the conversation, whereas like bomb, like immediately out of the conversation. Like I think you could compare the reaction of vanilla Destiny that people had to something like No Man's Sky. Like people were upset about how that game turned out, and even if it like. Before even the end of 2014, it had started to turn the corner a little bit with the raid and things like that in the first expansion. I think Destiny 2 is great, but it needed to be incredible. You were saying, Cameron. But that's just like where I'm at with it. And just to the same metric as, hey, like I ran out of content in this game, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Destiny 2 is still phenomenal. That's just my weird kind of downer take on it, I guess.
No, I totally kind of see that.
I could see that. I would counter by saying everything about the raid and Destiny 2 counters that argument, but okay.
Yeah, and there's always going to be, I think, and the coolest thing about Destiny is it has one slice of it that is going to fit those needs and those ideas. But one slice does not fit all, unfortunately.
Alex, I just want to remind you that we figured out how to do the baths without anybody's.
We did. I'm so proud of us.
We didn't need it. We didn't need anything. We did it by ourselves without anybody's help.
Yeah,
and it was great. So
just,
when you say there's no mystery, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. All right.
There are mysteries, and they're dogs, and there are 8 dogs now instead of 6. And
Good God, no.
No, thank you.
Weirdly enough, that's the easiest. Mode in prestige mode now.
I'm actually curious because this was one of the things I was going to bring up until kind of other things came out about Destiny 2 or I had other ideas for the show. Like, how do you guys feel about the prestige raid changes? And if I may, real quick, I can go through all of them really quickly.
Go for it.
The baths are the same but harder. And there's like one aspect. The baths is the one I don't know the most of. Like, there's a change to how everyone gets back to their platforms, I believe. But for the most part, that is the one part that is the least changed. Universally, if somebody dies, they lose their revive token in addition to having to be revived. So each death, depending, can cost 2 revive tokens.
Ooh.
Yep.
Which is very brutal. In the pleasure gardens, there are now 8 dogs versus 6.
Which will now require everybody to everyone now has to do 2 runs of it.
Yeah. And
it's fast. It's interesting.
That's rough, and they the patterns of how the dogs navigate the pleasure gardens have all changed now to accommodate the new dogs. So I doubt there's as much safe space in the gauntlet. After each round, a different pair of runners has to run through the gauntlet themselves, because the people that ran it the previous round get a debuff that does not allow them to pick up the psionic charge. So essentially everyone has to run it before the final round, and in the final round only 3 people get the item, and all 3 of them need to make it through to the end. And in Callus, the most brutal of all the changes, during the phases in the middle where people in the Shadow Realm are calling out to the people in the throne room, when the person in the throne room hits one of the shielded scions to make a new protection barrier for the people in the Shadow Realm, they are randomly swapped with someone in the Shadow Realm.
That offends me.
That is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
We're already going to take the thing that literally is the hardest thing in the raid.
In most multiplayer competitive or multiplayer shooter games ever, maybe.
And we're gonna say, hey, you know what? Really, we know how everybody has designated teams now, and they got it on lock, they can do it super quick. How about no?
Now I'll say,
how about you need 6 Griffin Gucciones to get you through the raid now? How about that?
I will say I really like that everyone needs to be able to do everything. I think that's a really cool, because a good raid group should be, or the best raid group, and the prestige is for the best. Should be able to everyone should be able to carry every weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, and it challenges each player. What I don't like is the implementation of it. It's just so cruel. And I guess you could have it so the same 2 people keep swapping.
No, you can't, because you can't control who gets
who gets pulled out, but you know what I mean, when this person is out of the Shadow Realm, they're gonna be the person that's gonna get swapped in, and then that person's gonna swap in, and that person's gonna swap in. But it's still hectic. I don't know where it puts you. Does it physically swap exact places? So if you're in the middle aisle in the Shadow Realm, are you gonna stay there? It's just very...
And during the swap, do you have that 3 seconds of delayed where you're just standing still? So you're getting massacred when you get brought into the throne room?
Yeah, right.
I just imagine getting to the second damage phase, you hit the last scion and then it teleports your only warlock to the Shadow Realm.
You're no!
Yeah, I need that healing rift. Yeah, I could see some frustrations here.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Devious.
Which is, versus the hard mode stuff, which was basically hey, we made it harder. This stuff is fucking brutal.
Yeah, this is totally different, because I even said it before. In the regular raid, there's stuff that I would think that would only be reserved for the hard mode or a prestige mode, which would be revive tokens. There's nothing that prepares you for revive tokens at anywhere else in the game.
Yeah.
In Trevor's review up on Trevor Trove, which is far more scathing than almost any review I've ever read about Destiny, he talks about how the raid specifically throws you into the deep end, and then when you try to get out, uses this is a metaphor, but uses the cleaning rod to shove you back under the water. It's oh, you're breathing? Nope.
It puts the net over your head, so you're you're being waterboarded. And then you go back down.
Or it's on the other end, they're just poking you in the head any moment, back up. Yeah, it's like that.
I wouldn't go that far, but I guess I see where he's coming from.
Yeah,
because it does remind me of older MMOs, Ragnaros, and
100%.
Vanilla WoW. Those were incredibly difficult, and it took 40 men to complete. 40.
The 40-man raid.
Yeah, 40-man raid.
That sounds rad as fuck, though.
Oh yeah, that's where Leroy Jenkins came from.
Yeah,
those old crazy raid moments. So I do appreciate the difficulty, because it is a throwback. Even WoW is more handholdy these days, as they've kind of broadened their demographic. But yeah, I kind of appreciate the difficulty, but this prestige stuff just seems When you have 40
I'll be
people, there's more leeway to mess up, right? When you have 6 people, it's just like yeah.
Oh, by the way, all 6 people have to know how to do everything and be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And not mess up.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like, hey, you're a healer. Now you have to tank.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
so-
much. So yeah, no. I would think that I would be way up for it because I was up for it until I found out. Do you want to read Trevor's question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think that I've been dancing around it for a while, but I think his question is really important to touch on now at this point.
Trevor Starkey at Snarky Starkey tweeted at us, did Bunch senses to do the Prestige raid, i.e. no higher level gear, exclusive. What do you get for beating the Prestige raid?
You don't get any. You get I think you get an aura, and you also get, I believe, new shaders, like a new shader, one new shader.
No, I don't think they messed up.
That's it. I think they did.
Okay.
Because I can tell you right now, if there was going to be higher level light gear, or if the gear was significantly different, or if they had like said, well, half the gear for Callus regular mode, half the other gear for other mode, kind of brought in that RNG issue that they of course have with any RNG system has. Because if I get another Mob Justice one more time, I'm gonna like just lose it. But you have an issue where I don't want to play it because I'm not going to get anything. Why would I run the Prestige mode when the reward for the Prestige mode is the same as the reward for the regular mode?
Yeah.
The best part about Oryx, like the Kingsfall raid and the Kingsfall raid, like the difference between gear was you had the white and maroon, and then you had in the Kingsfall heroic you had a like azurish blue, maroon, white, like it was just this just beautiful, and you didn't want to have the shaders, like any of your shaders on, because you just had this perfect look of that's just, it's so in MMOs and MMO lights, whatever you want to say, getting armor sets that universally look very appealing and have a universal color scheme that is very good is extremely rare. And that Kingsfall heavy machine gun I will never forget, because the heavy machine gun in heroic mode was just this beautiful like just gun. It was just
shout out to heavy machine guns.
It's a heavy machine. I see it in my mind and I love it. And it was just so wonderful. And I ended up getting like 4 of them, and I never cared because they were all just so beautiful.
I wish we had set bonuses.
That's another thing. Yeah, set bonuses would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Just additional incentive to collect all the gear.
How do you feel about the Prestige?
Say that one more time. You were cutting out.
Sorry.
Yeah, you keep getting out.
How do you feel about lack of rewards therein?
You cut out again, but I'm gonna assume you're asking me about the rewards and the prestige, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of with Trevor. Like, I feel like, or I guess he doesn't really pick a side, but
I picked a side.
His implied side, Trevor's implied side. Like, did Bungie screw up? I think they did, because I don't know. It just seems like the only people that are going to go out of their way to play the prestige mode are people who want the bragging, right? Like, and are those bragging rights really worth it? I mean, besides this aura and like that shader, like I don't personally like. I usually like doing the harder stuff, just even for the bragging rights. But it just, to me, it's excessive. Like, the difficulty compared to the reward is not worth it whatsoever. It'd be different if I was going in and was getting like some crazy exotic that was only available through that mode. But I'm not, and I don't really want to play prestige mode. So
and hopefully I'm not too cutty outy over here.
No, you're good now. You're good.
Surprised somebody just downloading just gigabytes of porn upstairs.
Yeah, probably.
Terabytes. But I don't know, because I like it because like I'm like a little bit over the trophy reward, right? Like the Prestige Nightfall has a trophy associated with it, so everyone's going to try and do that. But The reward.
You don't have to do it. You can do the hard prestige mode on Nightfall instead and get it.
Yeah.
Because that's what people have already done.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, carry on. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting.
You're fine. But like the prestige raid is just like a true test of skill, where the only reward is the fact that you did it. And I just kind of like that. It's a little old school, in its kind of mentality. Like you're not getting anything for this, save for the satisfaction that you did it, and no one can take that away from you. But as far as like a test of strength, like a test of, this is how much I love Destiny, and this is how much not only me but my team loves Destiny. I'm really into doing the prestige raid to do it. I want to do the prestige raid. I just know realistically I'm not going to find a team that I can do it with. As Cameron makes the saddest face I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was oblivious to the face until you said it.
I was making it, that's a hard face for me to make, like physically, because I literally have to like shrink my neck down into my shoulder to do it. Yeah. But it was worth it.
I don't know. I just I really like the idea of this is a prestige. Like this is an accomplishment, not for the sake of some fucking trophy or some gun. It's just a thing. Like I got my team together and we worked the hardest we've ever worked on something. We fucking did it.
Well, we already did that with the regular raid, Alex.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like if
it was very satisfying.
You just do it with the regular raid, like to achieve that like really satisfying accomplishment and get great rewards, and you played something that was really cool and that you're not going to see anywhere else. And the prestige raid is just like it is the same idea, Cameron. It's you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Like if you would rather get something for it, then just don't do it. Just do the regular raid and have a good time. But if you want to do this because you want to face like the hardest challenge you've faced in Destiny, do it. And I like that you're not losing anything by not doing it, right? You are not out of some exclusive club by not doing it. You just didn't do it.
There's no risk.
Yeah,
it's
no
optional.
risk.
I get that. The risk.
I'm kind of okay with that.
I think there's no reward because there's no risk, I guess.
Yeah. The reward is just that you did it and that you like the satisfaction that someone gets from finishing that with their team. I cannot imagine how good that feels. But like I like that's all you get. Like, you know, just that true human fucking feeling of beating it. I'm into that. I know that's like a fucking hokey answer, but
you kind of swayed me actually. Like I kind of like that.
I get it. I get it.
And I come from like the emotional, kind of the empathetic point of view of like, man, that's got to feel good. Like, and nothing feels like that. And the best part is nothing distracts you from that feeling because that feeling is what you get.
I get that.
So that's it. That's my hokey answer. So I don't think so, Trevor. But like also Trevor is like way more critical of Destiny than I am. So like just in general. So I think that
even though he has, I think, 2 characters to 305.
Yeah, he's like played way more of that than anyone I know except for Griffin. So like
Stockholm syndrome going on.
Yeah, he's in too deep, you know.
Next thing you know, we're gonna see Trevor in a gold dress and be like, Trevor, why are you wearing a gold dress? He goes, Destiny's taking me out for the evening.
But you know, Destiny's a very good video game. Can't blame him for getting into it. So
no, it's a great video game. I disagree when you say it's not a terrific video game. I think it is because of the sorry. There was a notice that said Destiny's like, hey, we logged you off because you're not playing right now.
I mean, I think it's an amazing game. Like I gave it a 9.0 on irrationalpassions.com, a review you can read on our brand new website right now. Plug. But I think in the context of what video games are this year, it isn't. Which is tough. Like I think on its own merits, it is incredible. But on the merits of the things that I will be comparing to in conversations at the end of the year, it's not. Like, and that's a tough place to be in. But again, that is me because I favor games that aren't big number 2s that clearly are building off of a thing they did before. Like that is me. I do that. Not everyone does, and I think my relationship with Destiny is also different than yours as well, Cameron. So
yeah, I also think that if you treated like significant others the way you treat video games, you'd be a really bad boyfriend.
Oh, I mean, you know me.
I made all these changes in my life. You're just another version of you.
You're just
I need something
you.
new.
Luckily, people are different than video games.
That is accurate. Yes.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up, and then we can maybe do whatever closing stuff that we want to do, is this whole seasons situation.
Oh,
some new information about this, and
good and bad. Good and bad.
Good and bad. And I'm not too familiar with it. I have a news story pulled up here. So Destiny is going to be split up into 4 seasons, right? Like 4 seasons per year.
We ended season of fall, and so we're entering season of winter.
Yeah, so it'll be tied to kind of the calendar as well. So the second season will bring back The Dawning, which I don't even know what Destiny's The Dawning is.
It's the Christmas event.
Okay.
That's a good Christmas name. I like that.
Yeah,
The Dawning. Yeah, it's a good Christmas name. It's interesting because the Festival of the Lost was way more popular than The Dawning.
Mm-hmm.
But they skipped Festival of the Lost because, of course, Destiny 2 on PC was coming out. So
yeah.
And technically, we ended season. I guess it's not right to call it season 1. It's kind of season 0 since it's vanilla. But yeah.
Iron Banner items will be able to be purchased from Lord Salad Bar, so you won't have to use tokens necessarily. Trials of the Nine is getting a visual refresh in season 2 as well.
AKA all of our maps are broken, so we have to completely redo them.
And there will be a new multiplayer competitive map in season 2, just in the general modes. And we don't quite know when season 2 will begin, but I assume it'll be sometime in November after some amount of 3 months has passed.
That is accurate from the rumors that I've been reading up on as well.
But I also, aren't you like losing the things that you would have gotten in the little loot box things? Aren't you like losing your ramen emote and whatnot?
No, if you have it already, you keep it. However, if you do not have it, you will not be able to get it from the Evercrest engram or Everfell engrams or whatever the hell they are.
What?
Yeah, they are making emotes rotational, exotic emotes rotational, in order to keep things fresh. So you don't. This is good because it keeps you from, if the new emotes come out, and you want to get the new emote, but you get like your 4th ramen emote. Neat, I have 4 ramen emotes, one more than I can ever have on a single character. It prevents that from building up. So it's good, but at the same time, if you haven't unlocked it yet, it sucks because it means that you're not going to get it until they bring it back into rotation.
I have my finger guns. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Wait, which finger guns? The one that you shoot the bottles, or the ones where you do the
bottles?
Where you do the cool? I still love the legendary emote where you bang 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 bang, and you like put behind your back and stuff, and you do that. That's cool. That's a really.
I think I have both of those.
Yeah, I have both of them.
I just got the table flip.
Table flip is cool.
No ramen yet, or salt.
Salt. I don't have salt yet. I have all of them except salt right now, I believe.
But so if you
I decided I wanted to spend $10.
If you get that the new exotic taunt, whatever it is, emote, whatever this dumb nerd shit is, the new exotic emote, will you lose it at the end of season 2?
No, you never lose your emotes.
Okay.
You lose the opportunity of getting them out of the boxes.
All right,
so here's the thing.
I got the ramen one out of my first one, so like I'm good, guys. I beat Destiny 2. I don't know if you guys heard. Cool.
I just remember how salty Trevor was getting the first time we were going through beasts. Because Tony was trying to get everybody to huddle up, and we just kept eating ramen. And Trevor was just like, I'm so upset with all of you.
I actually have the huddle up as well. So I'm.
Yeah, but only Tony gets to use the huddle up with his Titan. That's a rule.
I don't like.
Because there's nothing more annoying than seeing this stupid.
You know what?
Guys, come on,
Tony.
Huddle up.
I mean, yes. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm kidding, Tony.
That's all I prepared. Unless you guys have any other thoughts or feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I just real quick. I switched to. So you guys kind of started the last week. You Dawnblade sucks, and I like went home like with my tail tucked between my legs, like Dawnblade's awesome. Then
And then you realized, you became woke and realized Dawnblade is the worst.
I was playing with NATO, and he was like, Devour. Well, first of all, he's like, I've been telling you to do Devour for the past weeks, or something. NATO's being NATO. I was like, fine, I'll try Devour, and
he's like, you need to do Devour, just like I need to put on shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, so I did Devour, and I've been like wrecking people with Devour. I still think Dawnblade's great for some situations, and there have been situations where I've been killed where I could have like dodged behind a corner with my Dawnblade, but for the most part, Devour is a really great build that I've been.
You mean Dawnblade where you just float in the air so I can shoot you from far away with a Mida or Twisted Spire?
That's the noob Dawnblades, Cam.
New Dawnblades.
It's true. Those are noobs. They're filthy scrubs, and they should be shot down.
Yeah, I just like the extra mobility of Dawnblade. Being able
That's understandable.
I get you, dude. Play what you like to play. Like ultimately.
Well, now I like Devour. But
well, we talk a lot of shit on Farm to Tower, but ultimately, Alex, I just want you to do you. Okay.
Yeah. I will say, there's been 33% less shit because Griffin's not here.
Yeah.
Or 25% less shit.
Yeah.
No, because one person's always the one that really cares about something, and the other the shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
That's usually how it works.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I also want to say, like, I know I talked a lot of shit about Destiny 2 on this show, but like, I really love Destiny 2. I don't think it's going to be in my top 10 games of the year. I think like that's the perspective I'm coming from because I've played so many new things that have been like really exciting. Where like Destiny 2 is still more Destiny. Even if I love it, that's the perspective I'm coming at it from. I don't want it to sound like the things that Destiny is doing isn't exciting and fantastic, and I'm not excited for the future of Destiny. It's just like Destiny is now just a part of my life where like all these new things are coming into my life, and I'm very excited about them. Mario's he's fucking throwing his hat at dinosaurs. Guys, he's throwing his hat at dinosaurs.
I totally get that, Alex. Just give me 1 second. I have to make this phone call real quick. Yes, Southwest, I'd like to cancel a flight.
That's a good bit, Cameron. I
was like, I have a feeling that I have a good bit. I need to do it. Execute it immediately.
Your feeling was right.
Execute Order 66.
Definitely not that one. Ooh. No. Cameron.
No, not execute Order 69.
Yeah, there we go.
Episode Order 66. The one that killed all the Jedi, not the one that demanded at the end of Requiem for a Dream. It's
the one where they 69'd all the Jedi, right? Cameron, how about you give me your closing thoughts in the form of lore that will enrich my very being.
All right.
I want to go home glowing.
All right. Let me put on the spectacles. As they say, spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
All right. I'm giving you 6 minutes. I'm ready.
Wait, did my extra minute from last podcast not carry over? Is not banked?
It did bank. You had 5 minutes last week.
Okay. Fair enough.
Come on, dude.
I will say I did the 3 races of humanity in less than 5 minutes. That's
dude.
impressive.
You did very well. I was very impressed.
Watch Cam. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So the question, I will actually leave it up to you guys.
Okay.
When it comes to this, so the topics that I could hit on right now are the Cabal, the Hive, the Fallen, the Vex, or we can talk about Gaul and the cost of greatness. It's up to you.
Now, when we talk about Gaul, are we going deep?
Yeah, I'll be going balls deep.
Cabal's deep.
Cabal's deep.
That's a great joke.
We know
joke.
It's Tony's joke, and he overused it.
Now I feel like
the first
fool.
instance.
Again,
No, you know what it's a joke that Tony made that has been beat to the ground. Like the dead horse is no longer the dead horse has been bisected in half.
Yeah,
because it's been beat.
But
to
bisected
death.
like the long way.
Yeah, because that's what Tony does to jokes. Tony does to jokes what I do with everything I run.
All right, go Cabal's deep on Gaul.
Okay.
You want to go Cabal Steep on Gaul? All right.
That's my vote. That's my vote.
All right. Are you ready, Cam?
I am ready.
All right. And go.
All right. So it's important to note that Gaul is an interesting individual because he was born at a time when the Cabal Empire was at a point of greatness. However, it was a greatness that was entrenched in a lot of depravity and a lot of hedonism. AKA look at Emperor Fatbutt, Emperor Turtle Fatbutt.
Yeah, story of my life.
Yeah. So Callus was the emperor, and he had envisioned himself as a god to his people, and he was incredibly popular for he loved giving just massive amounts of gifts to the people and the populace. And additionally, he did things that were considered very strange. For example, he when the Scions, there's a lot of stuff you can dig into about what Gaul did during his reign, and about what he did with the Scions and things like that. But probably the big thing to hit on is, sorry, not Gaul. Callus did those things. But when it comes to Gaul was born.
He also ate ass.
Callus definitely eats ass. 100%. But a big thing to point out is that Callus was born in the refuge. He was born in the refuse. He was born in and abandoned. He was an albino who was also disfigured. So he was twice already awful.
Gaul, right? Not Callus.
Gaul, yeah. This is Gaul. He was picked up and implemented into a revenge plot by the consul.
Yeah, Lord
who is
P.
a character.
Lord.
Yeah, Lord Pete Lord. Funny enough, actually, we say Cabal's it's a joke, but actually the Cabal keep apparently there's a theory online right now where they keep their reproductive organs because the consul was castrated. And if you notice, the consul has the flabby neck.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Nice.
They literally have Cabals on their chins. Anyway,
Peter Griffin's over here.
Yeah. So, Gaul was an interesting figure because he was trained by the consul in basically military ways of fighting, and you pick this up through all the stuff that you pick up in lore items or the lore tabs on items that you get in Callus's raid. That from the moment Callus saw him in the gladiators arena,
yeah, he
became enamored with him and just wanting him to be part of his inner circle, where Callus was odd, where he kept a very diverse inner circle with different races and different people.
What odd compared to 27 United States? Because I agree.
Yeah, pretty much. So you have Gaul, who it's interesting to note that Callus knew that Gaul was seeking counsel from the consul, and the consul was part of Gaul's inner circle. Yet at no point did he ever suspect Gaul of betraying him, because Callus had already showed so much love and affection for him. And it's very clear with what Gaul did when he took power in his coup. They explained that they couldn't kill Callus because of how popular Callus was. Personally, I think with when they talk about how Gaul treated Callus and how Gaul is as a person, it doesn't really match up. Gaul, it's interesting that Gaul is who he is because he's the one that had to pull the trigger on the coup. And it's clear that there was hesitancy there.
How so?
Callus was helping everybody live that lit life,
Yeah, not only that, but so essentially it's not that Gaul did what he did for his own personal benefit. The consul wanted Gaul to be raised as an emperor. And the plan was always to make Gaul emperor. Or make, basically raise him up to the state of being emperor. And that was always the plan. However, Gaul didn't take, if you hear him, when they hear him talk, they always say that they never mention that he's the emperor. They call him Dominus.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the moment that he took power, he threw away the title of emperor.
Yeah.
He proclaimed that the title of emperor was gone, and that the empire, like essentially, he destabilized the empire, and but was so powerful that he was able to keep everybody united as what a new position called Dominus. If you watch his interactions with the Traveler, with both the Traveler and the Speaker in Destiny 2 during the Red War, there is an odd sense of nobility for it. He has he has a code of honor in a weird way, which is he's constantly chastised by the Consul for having that. He wants to, and it comes from being discarded as an infant, being known that you are a albino freak. Everybody makes fun of him for the Darth Vader mask, but it's very clear that if this next stuff, if that's where their reproductive organs are, like the reproductive, at least testicles are for Cabal, it would make sense that he covers that up if there's something wrong. It would make sense because this is a society that literally murders children if they're not strong, and somehow Gaul rose above that. So Gaul in himself is a contrary to Cabal society on his own.
Timer's going off, bud.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I have to wrap this up. There's a lot to read about with Gaul. There's a lot to dig in on, but Gaul is the cost of greatness that I referenced is that Gaul didn't just want to take power. It's the same thing where he encountered with Callus that he encountered with the Traveler and with the Speaker. He didn't want to gain power through force because at the end of the day, he wants to do what's right. And it's weird because his society for what's right is to take and control and dominate. But he sees the Guardians and he wants to be chosen.
Yeah.
He wants to be chosen. Up until that last moment, Gaul wanted to be chosen because at the end of the day, nobody ever really chose Gaul.
Yeah.
The Consul picked Gaul up because it was good for his plan. Callus chose Gaul because of Gaul's ability in the arena. Nobody ever picked Gaul for what is good about Gaul. And so in his seeking of greatness, in his seeking of becoming a true Guardian, somebody who is embodied by the light of the Traveler, he literally derailed his entire war plan.
To try and prove himself to the Traveler.
Because he also wanted to bring the light to his people. There's an old legend, an old fable in Cabal history that talks about the first emperor of the empire. The reason why the sun is a big thing for their people and the cultural icons that you see in Callus's Leviathan.
Yeah.
Is because the first Cabal emperor is said to have taken the sun and given it to his people. And to Gaul, there's a clear that he wants to be. He didn't take the title of emperor because he didn't feel like he earned it. He needed to ascend to greatness to become a true emperor. And to do that, he saw in his people's salvation, especially when he knows about the Hive and about the Vex and about all these other creatures and the dark, he's getting an understanding of the darkness. He understands what's coming for his people. And he wants to save them.
I like Gaul.
Gaul's a cool character. He's an awesome character. I had a great interaction. Friend of any show, I guess, that we do, Miranda. At Jaeger on Twitter. She totally understood it from the get-go. Gaul is a very interesting character because he doesn't want to dominate. He's really just wants to be. He believes that he's earned everything that he's gotten.
He wants to ascend. And when he forces himself to take godhood, that's when he messes up. Yeah.
When he is filled with power and he taunts the Traveler wakes up.
Yeah. But it's cool though because ostensibly he saves everyone from the oncoming darkness by waking up the Traveler.
If the Traveler wants to save everybody.
If the Traveler wants to save everyone, but if waking him up is for the better of all things, then
yeah, no, it's entirely possible. Gaul, the cost of greatness for Gaul might just be that his own people and his own army and his own his own friend, his oldest friend, he killed out of anger and frustration for, and at the end of the day, like, he doesn't know how to process that because the Cabal don't process these things.
And all it cost him was his swag.
All it cost him was his swag.
No, shout out to. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
My guess. I'm throwing this out there. Destiny 3 starts. The Traveler glows blue. Chief.
Good God, no. Nope. Just no.
That would be
in a million years. No.
That would be so funny. What a way to shit all over Halo and Destiny lore. No, I really like Gaul. I said that in my review. And as we move into the housekeeping section here at the end, I will say you can read my review again over on irrationalpatch.com. We relaunched the website last week, and
it's very good.
I'm very proud
it's
of
really
it.
Cool.
Thank you guys. You can read my glorious Destiny 2 review. It takes full advantage of our new kind of features and feature set of the site. I think it looks very good on the new layout and everything. I liked Destiny 2 a great deal. The funny thing is, we talked about changing our review scale, but we're not going to look into that again until 2018. Because I was like, I really want to give Destiny an 8.5. But I was happy giving it a 9. And I love that game very much. And I cite in that review, like, I really like Gaul as a character. I think he's one of the most compelling parts, if not the most compelling part about the story. Although hearing on this show, like, the stuff, like the dialogue that changes if you've not played Destiny 1 and stuff like that stuff is really cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go check that out. It's also worth noting, Extra Life is coming up for all of us, not just Cameron and myself for Rational Passions, but for OK Beast as well. Are you guys getting together again for this year, Alex?
Yeah, we're gonna be announcing officially, I guess, like this in the next couple days. But yeah, November 10th and 11th is the date, so the day before IP. So it'll be a fun weekend.
Cool. Doing it on a Friday.
then-
That's good.
I challenged Blessing, but he backed out like a little bitch.
Really? I think.
Yeah, because I said, let's see who raises more money. Let's make a wait. You guys are gonna make more money. It's like, way to be a coward, Blessing. Way to be a coward.
Well,
But it's all for charity.
If Blessing knows, like, the shit that's going down, which I believe he does, like, I understand his hesitancy. So, like,
yeah, no, he doesn't understand a chance.
it's like the fucking, you know how, like, sometimes, like, the horse leads the cart? Well, like, the cart is, like, so far in front of the horse doesn't even know where it is right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Blessing has info. He has intel.
he's got the hot intel.
If he has the hot intel, then that definitely that was gonna be part of my didn't know, and I could like buy in, like I could dig into his whole like his competitive spirit. I was like, oh, okay, and then when we reveal it, it'll just like crush him, and that would have been glorious.
Are you guys gonna play some DK64 local multiplayer?
Oh,
I'll take that as a strong yes.
We need to play if our schedules allow. We need to play like some Overwatch or something together.
Okay.
Like cross
IP versus OK Beast Overwatch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be super fun.
That'd be really fun. But yeah,
we could kick off our show with that, Alex, as they end there. We can do that.
I'm down for whatever. But yeah, Chase
I
Williams.
don't think they overlap that way though.
Coming in. Yeah, Chase Williams is coming in town. He's a producer at PlayStation. We've got Blessing coming in. We got some local people. We keep trying to convince Moises to come in last minute, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Moises did try to come into our Extra Life last minute. I'm going to let you know. And I was like, I'm not allowed to invite any more people.
I was thinking of like, how do I do this? Because I was like, well, he's my son, but apparently he's disavowed me as his father on Twitter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's disavowed me as his father on Twitter, and that just means that all the protection that I've given him, I've been holding back.
It's all for nothing.
On some stuff that he's done and said, and I've just been holding back because I'm like, he's my son. Like sometimes I put out a public apology for him.
He needs you.
But he said he doesn't need me as his father. He says it's enough that two people who he's never met, Austin Walker and Patrick Klepek, are his fathers, which is fine, I suppose.
Well,
he looks like Austin Walker, and I said, Austin, we found your mother, and he goes, "You're not my dad." I'm like, oh.
Dang.
And then I warned him what would happen if he wanted to disavow me as his father, and he decided to go through with it. So
here we are.
So I'm locked and loaded on some hot takes on him. I can't wait to I just like the next moment he messes up, the next moment he slips up even just a little bit.
Cam's there.
I'm going to eviscerate him.
Thank you. What time are you guys starting your Extra Life?
We are
I have no idea.
noon to noon.
Noon to noon?
November 11th.
Cool. Noon to noon. That sounds a lot like ass to ass.
I mean, that might have been the intention. No, it wasn't. There is a video up on youtube.com/Irrational Passions right where you're watching this, kind of announcing. See, you like that, Cam? Like this pro strats I got going on over here?
I dig it.
Announcing who else coming, including Cameron Abbott, Trevor Starkey, Roger Picorni, and many, 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 many others, as well as some secret special announcements coming soon.
You got some creepers up in that house.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
There's some creepers coming to Maryland.
I'm just saying, if you thought Danny Juarez being around you a lot.
Oh, dude, no, I'm ready. I'm not ready.
Did you get that chastity belt that I told you you're gonna need?
I got 3. So you can go watch that video. Roger Picorni actually edited that video, and he did a great job, I think. The new site's up on irrationalpassions.com. If you actually go to irrationalpassions.com/extra life, you will get all the info for our page. We will have a schedule up there once we have it ready of the things we plan on doing at the certain time slots that we plan on doing them. And like a list of all of our guests, and we actually have a production team that is coming in. Brendan Williams, our good friend Troll, and our friend John Weingartner are coming to help out with that.
Play control, boys.
Play control. And it's gonna be a great time. We are doing it November 11th. You guys are doing it November 10th. okbeast.com. I'm sure you guys on YouTube you will probably have some announcement stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, follow us on Twitter at OKBeastNow. You can follow me at It's Van Aken, ITSVANAKEN. And yeah.
The last part is spelled like Clay Aken, but without the I.
The only other thing I wanted to bring up is I think, just going off the vibes, I think instead of our 6-episode run, I think this might be the last Farm to Tower for a little bit. Because
I can see that
in 2 weeks,
unless something comes out over the next few weeks, I don't see us doing it again.
Yeah, in 2 weeks it's going to be Extra Life, so we wouldn't be able to record on time then. And then it's like 6 weeks out from the first expansion. So, and I think that'll be the most appropriate time to kind of get the gang back together and talk about what's up with Destiny 2. It doesn't mean the end of Farm to Tower. This was always kind of planned as a periodic show, not a every week or every other week.
It's a rotational podcast. Yeah, it's seasonal rotational.
Seasonal show, just like New Donk City Radio, which you should go subscribe to on iTunes and review on iTunes and listen to when it starts today, right? The first episode went up today. And just like your Breath of the Wilden or Wylan. Was it Wylan? Okay.
Breath of the Wylan.
Wylan. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Wily.
Mm-hmm.
Another good comparison would be Star Wars, the tabletop role-playing game podcast or videos.
Videos coming out from Naughty Games.
Wait, what? I missed this.
What? It's my pinned tweet.
I was like, what is he talking about?
So, it's my pinned tweet. Star Wars. It's a Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Check it out.
You want to know what the hook is, Van Aken?
Please do. Please tell me.
The hook is it takes place after the destruction of the first Death Star, and our team is the insurance investigators for All Galactic, awesome. The insurance company that insured the Death Star.
That's freaking awesome.
So we have to find a way to make sure that we don't have to pay for the Death Star.
I'm going to be watching this.
It's real good. The last 2 episodes, I think we just put up the second to last one. This next week is going to be the season finale, and that's it for Star Wars stuff.
Really bad that I literally I'm watching.
Nobody has. Look at the view count. It's okay.
Maybe we should start pimping that on here more. So I think I just want to going through this and leading up into tonight. This feels like a comfortable kind of ending point of our mid-season break, I guess, until the next expansion comes out. So we'll do a show for that, and then the last expansion for Vanilla Destiny 2 will come out, and we'll do a show for that, and then we will reconvene in a year to talk about whatever's happening with Destiny 2 next fall.
I'll have a child then.
Really?
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
I was like, dude, Kayla could be pregnant. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
your
no,
wife,
it's
Alex.
okay. It'd be awesome
This
if
is
she
my
was.
announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy.
I
that
really
you're
wanted to
doing it
wait
here.
to announce it on Farm to Tower.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, since this is going to be our last episode for a little bit, for maybe like 8 or so weeks right now, thank you to everyone who participated, who watched, who came out and sent us questions for any of the episodes, and who just got down and dirty talking about fucking Destiny. One of my favorite things to do. But an even bigger thank you to my co-hosts, Alex Van Aken, Cameron Abbott, Nato Johnston, and Griffin Guccione for fucking coming on this kind of spur-of-the-moment, sporadic idea of a show and doing this with me. This was so much fun.
But Alex, I have so much more lore to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to have to start Cameron's own lore spin-off show.
There's no point. Watch My Name is Bife. He has great stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Remember, just like Alex said, go check out OK Beast, okbeast.com, and listen to Pixel Pulse Radio, which is what day of the week does that go out?
Mondays.
Every Monday. Hosted by Alex Van Aken at It's Van Aken on Twitter. Stay tuned to that Twitter account, and at OK Beast Now is your
Look at you. Such a good host.
I'm trying over here. OK Beast Now for announcements on their Extra Life stuff. Cameron Abbott is at Unsexiest Comedy on Twitter. Listen to Naughty Gamers podcast, show he hosts with his. I'd like to associate you guys as like lovers.
He would. I'm okay with that. He would not be. It's mostly because I've made like I love whenever we go to a restaurant, somebody says, "Hey, so you guys out here for something?" I go, "Yeah, it's our anniversary," and that just always pisses him off. So.
I just feel bad for Chandler.
You should be. Everybody should feel bad for Chandler. That's why you should watch our stuff and listen to it.
And
it makes them happy.
Naughty Gamer.
Actually, I have one more thing to tell you, everybody, about. We actually brought on somebody. It's not technically official yet, but he's doing it right now. But streaming. If you go to twitch.tv/naughtygamers and not sub there, you don't have to sub. I don't even think we have a
follow
active. Follow, that's the word I'm looking for. If you follow us on there, Scott's Munchie Games or Game Munchies. I think it's
Scott
Game Munchies.
Guthier's Munchie.
I wish. No, a buddy of ours. If you watch Star Wars and you've been like, hey, this Scott Warner guy who plays the intern, he's pretty cool. I would like him to watch him play video games. This is your opportunity. He just put out he's done a couple of things. He did a new game plus hardcore mode for Horizon Zero Dawn, and then he also did an hour and some change, or maybe some more of that, of Crash Bandicoot, which is like his favorite game. So
nice.
He's fun. He's a great guy. He's a lot more entertaining to like play video games than I am, as I've learned. But yeah, no, he's great. So we're doing that. So follow us there so you can get updates whenever he plays. And also we automatically import them onto YouTube. So you can, if you go to YouTube, we don't have a URL yet because we don't have 100 subscribers. But if you type in Naughty Gamers, be careful. The TS or the CIA or no NSA is watching your search history, so be careful with that. It's KNOTTY.
Yeah, not
you
naughty.
pervs. You pervs. It means
Naughty.
complicated and complex. You pervs.
Naughty, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep calling our listeners pervs because I think like they really
They
flock
love
that term.
If you ever need like an ASMR like branch off for Naughty Gamers, just let me know.
No, I heard the new Donk Radio thing that I think I'm good for the rest of my life.
Do you want to talk about nuts?
Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
It's too intense. Thank you all so much. Thank everyone for watching along with us, playing Destiny with us. And we will be rating and streaming and playing more Destiny in the future. Don't worry, it will happen. But I have been your moderator, Alex O'Neill, at AlfUnder27 on Twitter. Go listen to my other video game show, Irrational Passions. I think it's okay, maybe. And
You're the first. I know I say this all the time, and I know I'm interrupting your rant. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to get out of here.
You're fine.
I'm about to compliment you.
We're gonna talk about stuff after this, so you're fine.
Okay. Irrational Passions was the first quote like fandom not fandom, but like you're not an IGN and you do yeah, there you go. it was the first one that I ever listened to, and I was super impressed.
I
And
didn't
that's
know
actually one
this.
of the reasons I started my stuff.
I didn't know
Yep.
this.
I will also
just
say
now.
that to Alex. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Alex gave me my first shot, both in writing about a video game and also for being on a podcast. Got me my start, made me realize I wanted to do this, made me put the investment in, but also I really think that Alex, at least for our, as far as like our group goes, like our, the OK Beast popping up, the Naughty Gamers, everything else, Irrational Passions really was kind of like the first ever amateur coverage.
I swear to God, if you guys make me cry on this show, I will leave.
Yeah, the first ever amateur coverage that I actually really thought was worthwhile and had anything worth listening to. A level of production quality that just isn't out there for amateur productions. And it comes from being, a lot of hard work and a lot of time and a lot of just doing it. Like a lot of us say, like, oh, the advice from every professional is just do it. Alex, when he first heard that, decided, okay, and did it. He didn't wait on it and sit on it like the rest of us did. So there's a reason it's at, like, you just had episode
350.
350.
7
That's
years.
awesome.
We just passed episode 75, and I feel like I've been doing it a lifetime.
Nice.
And I
Yeah,
still
dude,
don't know.
I
what the
remember those
symbols
days.
all behind you mean.
Yeah,
Because it's like, because we've done ours, we haven't taken a break, and 75 is actually more like 90 something.
how many is Pixel Pulse on? This has to be in the 100s, right?
No, we're almost there. We're like almost to 90.
Okay.
The only reason
I
Naughty
remember the
Gamers
good
is
old
that
days.
high. Yeah. The only reason Naughty Gamers is that high is because we never take a break.
It's funny because like everything before episode 100, I don't even consider good. Like Nabashin came on at episode 98. I'm like, yeah, that's when it started getting pretty okay.
I have a feeling I'll get to that point as well. So, because I already think like if you want to listen to Gamers, start after episode 13. Do not go before it.
Yeah,
It is a bad place of 3 hour plus podcast that like an hour and a half of it is just me reading head talking.
That's true of
Not
IP as well. Well, you guys are too sweet. I love you guys very much. Thank you for doing this. And I can't wait to do more Farm to Tower. But I've got a lot of ideas for more seasonal shows. This was kind of like a test pilot for how we record using Discord and how we stream it on YouTube and whatnot. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I learned a lot thanks to you guys. And I'm very excited for the future of seasonal shows and shows that are based with like the hosts of other podcasts and myself, like this one. And I've got a lot of very fun ideas.
Yeah.
And you guys,
I'm sorry. I thought Alex his screen froze because he's stayed there for a really long time.
you guys are adorable, and I love you. And I'm ending this fucking show now. Thank you so much. Wherever Griffin is, he's planting that good seed for some fucking organic, homegrown, farm to tower destiny good shit. So from me and the rest of the farm,